Hi, welcome back to my channel. Spoiler alert, I loved it. Oops. By the way, if you haven't noticed, the blue aesthetics, the waves, get it? Ooh, I feel like I can make my ring light blue. Yeah, yeah, that's a vibe. I'm blue, ba-boo-dee, ba-boo-da, I had a house and it was so blue. Yeah, I want to give you some background. I feel like background is very important when it comes to, well, any book, but especially classics. I feel like it's really important. Like you would understand the background for a book that's written like in the 21st century, right? But what about something that was written like 200 years ago? I feel like it's really important for classics. So that's why I want to tell you something more about Virginia Woolf and who she was and what she was trying to do. So basically, she was born in 1882, and I don't want to bore you with facts, I promise, but just want to tell you that she married a publisher, and she was part of this Bloomsbury group. Which was a circle of writers, thinkers. So they wanted to forget all about the era of their parents and grandparents, which was the Victorian period, and they wanted to create something new, discover a new artistic method to match this new century that they were in. And they formed one of the most well-known branches of the literary avant-garde of the 20th century. So Woolf wrote one essay that was called, if I'm not mistaken, it's called Modern Fiction, in which she distinguishes between materialists, that is to say, the authors or the writers that were more focused on the surface, on like describing what's going on the outside, whereas she herself tried to capture that innermost flame, and she says in that essay that that's what a modern novelist should try to do, and she was very much character focused. And so especially in the waves, you can really see that, how much she focuses on the character, what's going on in their minds, and she completely abandons that conventional style of writing. So modernists like playing with form, structure, and you don't really know what's going on, like where the character is, like physically, both physically and in time. And that's very confusing. Let me tell you that. And I didn't know any of that before I started reading The Waves, because my plan for 2022 is to read one classic a month. So I was like, The Waves sounds great. Let me start reading it. I didn't learn anything about the modernists or about Virginia Woolf before starting this book, and I kind of wish I did, but I'm also glad I didn't, because I just went in not knowing anything, and I was like, I'm very confused, but I love it. I don't know, like there's 6 narrators in this book, 6 narrators, and you get to enter into their minds and like really see what's going on there. And at times it can be really confusing because you don't know who's talking. So pretty much the whole time I was like, she's written something and I love it. I don't really see the plot. I don't know who's talking. I don't know when they're talking, but it's wonderful. Like, it's so good. And each line is like poetry. There's so much beautiful imagery. And each chapter, not chapter, but like it's divided into sections. And each section has like descriptions. Can you see that? Of the sun and where it is. It's the end of the book and the end of the characters' lives. the sun is about to set, or it has already set. And I found that really nice, like that, that comparison to where the characters are in their lives as opposed to the sun itself. That was really beautiful. The sun and the sea as well. Um, so The Waves is about six friends, six characters whose lives are intertwined, and each section deals with different parts of their lives, as I already said. Like the very beginning is when they're very young. They go to school together, and then they start to shape as individuals. So there's also adolescence, then they begin to age, etc. And you get to enter each of these characters' lives, minds. You get to see what they're really thinking about. And it's something that's fascinating to me because it's like she's talking about each one of us. And whoever we meet in our lives has an influence on us. And they kind of get to create, like, we're like a puzzle. And each of these puzzle pieces is a person that we meet in our lives. I'm going to read this to you. I get so emotional over these lines, but it basically describes what I was trying to say, that we're all one, we're all connected. So he's talking about his friends. I'm going to skip 2 lines so I don't spoil it too much for you. And now I ask, who am I? I've been talking of Bernard, Neville, Ginny, Susan, Rhoda, and Louis. Am I all of them? Am I one and distinct? I do not know. We sat here together, but now we are divided. We are not here. Yet I cannot find any obstacle separating us. There is no division between me and them. As I talked, I felt, I'm you. This difference we make so much of, this identity we so feverishly cherish, was overcome. Here on my brow is the blow I got when Percival fell. Here on the nape of my neck is the kiss Ginny gave Louis. My eyes fill with Susan's tears. I see far away, quivering like a gold thread, the pillar Rhoda saw, and feel the rush of the wind of her flight when she leapt. I can't. So beautiful. Kind of spoiled it as well. But don't worry about me spoiling this book because it's all about. It's not like it's not like there is this big plot and you're like, wow, what is gonna happen? It's all about the writing and it's all about poetry. So what I just read is, of course, towards the end of the book, some of his friends were dead, and that's what he felt like. And so there's a lot about death in this book, especially towards the end of the book when the characters are a little bit older and you naturally start reflecting on your own death, right? It says, and time, said Bernard, lets fall its drop. The drop that has formed on the roof of the soul falls. On the roof of my mind, time, forming, lets fall its drop. Last week, as I stood shaving, the drop fell. I, standing with my razor in my hand, became suddenly aware of the merely habitual nature of my action. This is the drop forming, and congratulated my hands, ironically, for keeping at it. Shave, 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 I said. Go on shaving. The drop fell. All through the day's work, at intervals, my mind went to an empty place, saying, what is lost? What is over and done with? I muttered. Over and done with, solacing myself with words. People noticed the vacuity of my face and the aimlessness of my conversation. The last words of my sentence tailed away, and as I buttoned on my coat to go home, I said more dramatically, I've lost my youth. But I also like how there is also so much hope in this book, because there is hope in life, right? And it talks about how life it can go to, extremes, and be really good or really bad, and it's continually changing. So for example, it says, how then does light return to the world after the eclipse of the sun? Miraculously, frailly, in thin stripes. It hangs like a glass cage. It is a hoop to be fractured by a tiny jar. There is a spark there. Next moment a flush of dun. Then a vapor as if earth were breathing in and out. Once, twice, for the first time. Then under the dullness someone walks with a green light. Then off twists a white wraith. The woods throb blue and green, and gradually the fields drink in red, gold, brown. Suddenly a river snatches a blue light. The earth absorbs color like a sponge slowly drinking water. It puts on weight, rounds itself, hangs pendant, settles and swings beneath our feet. Poetry. There's so much more that I want to read out to you, but I feel like you really need to pick this up. Plus, it's not even that long. Like, I wish it was longer. It only has 167 pages, but it's 167 pages of like a pure poetry, pure masterpiece. It's just incredible. I can't believe that I just read this. Like, I feel I definitely want to reread it. I want to dedicate more time to it. I want to explore each character. I feel like I almost wish I was still in university so I could write a paper on it. I mean, I could still write a paper on it, but like there are only 24 hours in a day. There's so many things I want to do, but you see what I mean. It's like it is so beautiful. So I really do encourage you to go ahead and pick this up. You're not going to regret it, especially if you love. Hi. Oh, she's like so jealous that I'm talking to a book and not her. Hey, what's up? My cat is here. Please read this. You're not going to regret it, especially if you love Modernists, if you're familiar with the movement, even if you're not. If you like poetry, if you like beautiful words, beautiful ideas, just read this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review as well. I hope I described the book very well. I hope it made you want to read it because it's really amazing. Just trust me. Give it a try. Give it a try. It's a little bit, you know, it's not something that you read every day, and that's what makes it amazing. So, please let me know if you read Virginia Woolf or The Waves. So, I will see you next time. Bye.